Today we're going to talk about the anatomy of an NPM package.json file. First of all, we're going to generate an NPM baseline, meaning we're going to create a package.json file for us to use in our application development. To do this, we're going to perform the NPM Init task. It will ask you to provide the following information via prompt: the name of your project, which defaults to your directory name hyphenized, a version, which defaults to 1.0.0. This follows semver versioning. If you want to click on the link in the slides, it'll take you to more details about that. It'll also ask for a description of the project and the entry point where your application is first executed. It'll also ask for a test command such as Karma or Mocha if you have a test suite available. It also asks for a Git repository. If you've performed a Git init in the directory in which you're executing the NPM init, it will automatically pick up that repository and provide that URL there. It also prompts for keywords, which are handy for searching for NPM modules. The author, as well as the license. It defaults to the Open Source Initiative ISC license. Next, we will talk about NPM dependencies. To install these dependencies, you can perform npm install and the dependency name. This will perform a one-time installation of that module. An npm install -g of the dependency name will install to your global npm installation and make that available from any point that you're executing commands from. npm install --save dependency name. What this will do is it'll install it to your project and update the package.json dependency list. You can perform the same command but with save dev instead of save, and it will add it to your dev dependencies list in your package.json. The difference between a dependency and a dev dependency is that dependencies are intended to deploy with your application and are needed to execute the application. Dev dependencies, however, are used in order to develop or test your application prior to publishing. If you are starting with a pre-written project that contains a package.json already, you can perform an npm install, and it will pull down all the dependencies necessary to develop and execute your application. Peer dependencies are handled by NPM modules, and most NPM modules have their own dependencies declared as well. NPM will go through and download all these peer dependencies, and you don't have to worry about explicitly noting them in your package.json. The dependency versioning is handled via semver. If it has a caret, what this means, it indicates that any minor version of a dependency will meet the dependency criteria. So if you had the caret 3.2.5, it means that anything with the version starting with 3 is valid. If you use a tilde, it indicates that any patch version of a dependency is acceptable. So if you had tilde 3.2.5, it means that anything 3.2.x is valid. However, if there is no preceding modifier to the version number, this means that that version and that version only is acceptable to the project. For instance, 3.2.5 means only 3.2.5 is a valid version of that dependency. Why can't I automatically pick up major version changes? The reason is, according to semver, major version changes are those that cause a breaking change. This means a change in the API or syntax of that module breaks reverse compatibility and will make it so that your application may not execute as you intended. There is a portion of the package.json called scripts. What these allow you to do is to abstract underlying dependencies and perform a given set of tasks depending on what npm command is being executed. For instance, you can see in the snippet I have a post install. If you were to perform an npm install, it would install all the dependencies and then perform my webpack command. This is handy also if you want to abstract your dependencies for something like test. For instance, if you change your framework from Mocha to Jasmine, your command to test your application will remain as npm test. All available npm script properties can be found at the given link in the slides. To share your npm module with others, you will perform an npm publish command. This makes the module available at the npm.js website under your package name. And now other npm users can now install your module via the npm install command. with this, you'll want to have an npm ignore file in your directory. Similar to a .gitignore file, the .npm ignore will contain the files and directories you do not want to publish to your npm repository. Your npm ignore file should, at minimum, contain the node modules directory. These will be installed when a user npm installs your dependency. Other commands available to npm. npm remove and then the dependency name removes a dependency from your application. Similar to an install, you can do a -- save or -- save dev, and it will update your package.json accordingly. npm prune removes all undeclared dependencies that are not noted in your package.json. npm link points to your npm registry to your local directory for the given package name, which allows you to do local testing of npm modules without having to publish multiple times. npm shrinkwrap creates a file that locks down the version numbers that are currently installed for the npm module. This is important if you want to isolate any version changes. As always, you can contact me at LinkedIn and Twitter. What we're going to go ahead and do now is actually walk through the NPM Init process. So as you can see, I am in a directory called my YouTube channel, and the name of my package is YouTube channel. My version will be 1.0.0, and the description will be something along the lines of project to go along with the development in my YouTube channel videos. My entry point will be index.js, and I don't currently have a test command, so I'll skip that step. As you can see, I already have a Git repository initialized here, and it picks up that URL. I'm going to skip the keywords for now and move on to the author, which is of course myself, and I am okay with the ISC license. As you can see, it creates the package.json file for me and lets me preview it. I don't see anything wrong with this, so I'm going to hit yes. As you can see up here, it's generated my package.json file at the base level of my directory. So now, if I were to do an npm install save of Angular, for instance, you'll see my package update to have dependencies with my Angular in here. By default, when you install, it grabs the latest version and puts the caret indicating the major version is okay. Now, if I do an install of a dev dependency such as Webpack, you can see it generate that dev dependency as well. Webpack's a little bit larger than Angular, so it's going to take a little bit longer to install. As you can see here, in my node modules folder, it has every dependency necessary for these two dependencies. The majority of these are associated with Webpack. In fact, only one of these is an Angular dependency, which is Angular itself. It pulls down all the files that the Angular dependency has published and makes those available to my application. I hope that you enjoyed learning about this information, and we will use this in the upcoming projects. You can check out the description below for the YouTube channel repository to start there, and we'll use that project from here on out. Thank you.